Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1991 Nissan Figaro. Up front is a 1.0 liter turbocharged inline 4, and down below is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Nissan Figaro for two reasons. First of all, it's an adorable little car, and it's just cute, so we get to spend some time with a Figaro here today. But the second reason is the fact that this is part of Nissan's Pike cars. So back in the 90s, they did a couple of retro vehicles, and they built them at their Pike factory as these fun little cute throwback cars based on economy cars like we'll talk about with this one. But we've already done the Nissan POW here on the channel, so now we get to check another Pike car off the list and drive the Figaro. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 1-liter turbo under the hood. Well, it's good for about 75-ish horsepower. This whole vehicle is based off of the Nissan March/Micra, depending on what market it's in. It's either the Micra or the March, which was a very, very basic, run-of-the-mill economy car. Nothing special at all. This is basically a rebody of that. And so it got a very economy car drivetrain. It is a very boring drivetrain. It's not quick, it's not zippy, it's not even zesty, but it works, and that wasn't really the whole point of this car. So the little 4-banger up front, that's fine by me. Like I said, paired to it is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Just like the engine, absolutely nothing special. Although it loves to hold on to gears like a bear preparing for hibernation, it's fine enough. Last but not least about the Figaro, it of course is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Nissan Figaro? Well, it's a very bland, very boring, very nonchalant driving experience. Honestly, driving the car mechanically is a very, very forgettable experience. It's not quick, it's not entertaining, even though it is lowered, it doesn't really handle all that well. But that's not why you drive a Figaro. You don't buy a Figaro to be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna carve a canyon and set a crazy lap time at Gingerman Raceway. No. You buy one of these to A, be seen in it, and B, have something cool, unique, and special. You walk out into your driveway and you smile because it's adorable, not because you know you're about to shred a back road. And so this drivetrain is actually perfect for that application. It does its job really, really well, and it doesn't try to be something that it's not. Well, at least mechanically, visually, it is trying to be a 60s car, but we'll talk about that later. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges and a clock. Off to the left is my speedometer, fuel, and coolant temperature, and off to the right is that tachometer with the clock in it. The steering wheel doesn't have anything on it besides the horn, which sounds like a normal horn. Honestly thought it'd be a little bit cuter. Off to the right, we have our climate vent as well as a bunch of warning lights. We have our rear defrost and antenna switch. And moving out of the door, we have the latch to get in and out and power windows. Moving into the center, first of all, we do have a Game Boy that is working as our speedometer. Absolutely adore this. So cool. That, of course, is aftermarket, but a very cool aftermarket piece at that. Then we have 2 climate control vents. We have our climate controls themselves. I love how you get to select between face or foot. That's it. Face or foot. And you get to select cold or hot, on and off with the fan speed. That's it. Then we do have the radio down below. I love this retro take on the styling. Very, very cool there. And then moving into the center console, we have the tiniest cup holders maybe known to man. So without even needing to ask, it does in fact fail the big friggin' bottle test. Shifter in the center, handbrake, and that's it. Very, very simple interior like the cars of yesteryear. The seats are comfortable. I fit actually okay in here because the Figaro actually isn't a K car. Its engine is too big, and so it didn't need to restrain itself to the K car size requirements. However, it is still a very small car. Don't get me wrong. It is small. It's just not K car small. So I actually fit in here pretty well, and the seats agree with me here. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. Now, I unfortunately am not even going to try to get into them because I don't think that would work at all. It has back seats. They are not good, but here they are. Now we'll hop out and talk about the trunk. One of the many things the Japanese mastered before us Americans was using one key for everything. So not only is this for the ignition, but it also works here for the trunk. Pull it up like this, and there you go. That's the tiny, tiny little trunk. Very true to its 1960s styling, but not very useful. That is the trunk of the Figaro. Now, this part does open up as well, and the roof actually does come off. It's technically a convertible. You can see this part, this main part, actually stays in place, but this leather part actually does go into the back. It is very, very temperamental, so I am not going to mess with it here today. But that is an option that you had with the Figaro, and if you want to go find a Figaro and buy it, check to make sure the top is in operating order and blah, blah, blah. There you go. Very, very cool to see that. Now we got to talk about the looks, and that's obviously the huge talking point here with the Figaro. So in the 1990s, Japan was going through a phase of retroism. They were obsessed with the past. There were several vehicles and companies that were making throwback cars. It was this big, big trend. And so the Pike cars were leading that charge with the POW. When I drove the POW, I don't think I put this in that review. I was filming it at a forest preserve in Chicago, and a guy came up to me, older gentleman, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, I love old Fiats." And I said, "Well, you know, it's not actually a Fiat, it's a Nissan." And he goes, "No, this is a Fiat." And I had to politely tell him, "No, it's a Nissan." And so that's the kind of styling that they were going for with these cars, and it's just so joyous. They did them in fun colors. They really took a gamble on these cars, and they only made them for a few years. Technically, the Figaro was only made for the 91 model year. There were some that were built in 92, blah, blah, blah. But really a one-year only car, because it's not really financially beneficial to cash in on nostalgia. Maybe you'll get a couple buys, but a car like this, like most people would just buy the Nissan March or Nissan Micra and call it a day. So this was a very select group that would actually buy something like this. But just the fact that Nissan did this at all, let alone technically four different cars. I think the BE1 is not very retro, but still technically a Pike car. I just think this is so cool because they didn't have to do this. No one was forcing Nissan to build cute, adorable retro cars, and yet they did. And I miss that era of Nissan where they had a little bit of spending money to actually put R&D into fun things, not just endless Altimas, Maximas, and Sentra hell. That's the biggest thing about this car, is that it's unnecessary, and that's what's fun. You get to be jolly, you get to smile, you get to cheer, you get to giggle in a little economy car, and it's gonna get good fuel economy. It was relatively affordable to build and buy. It's just wonderful. It is so whimsical. I cannot get enough of this little Figaro. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Jimmy for letting me borrow his Figaro for today's video. Jimmy has been absolutely wonderful to work with. I also filmed his imported JDM Toyota Century hearse. That's right, you heard that correctly. Hearse. What an absolute treat. Jimmy is a connoisseur of the strange automobile from Japan, and I am very, very appreciative of him. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.